So yeah, that was the mob farm sorting and all the little dinky stuff we did around the base. Um, Honestly, I was hoping I'd get to more than just this today, but clearly, even explaining how this all works takes a while. Oh man, shoot, that was a lot longer than I thought it was gonna take. Anywho, we do want to talk about one thing before we get off for the night, and that is, I do want to speak about filters. There are some kind of unique filters here that not a whole lot of people have used, and I kind of want to talk about them. So let's do that real quick. So the ones we have covered already: item filter, pretty obvious. It just accepts items regardless of durability as long as they're in the filter. Item stack is durability or NBT specific. Um, this is actually a durability filter. Golly, having the hiccup burps. I don't know what they are. It's driving me nuts though. Durability filter. Durability filter is an interesting one. I would normally use it in a mob farm setup where I'm pulling armor off of mobs before recycling. And if I want to repair those armors, I would use the durability filter to check if they need repaired or not. Sometimes I would use it for the bows, but honestly, using item stack and pedestal priority is just fine. I don't need any super advanced filters for this. But I will take this bow. Actually, this bow is probably a good example because it's almost repaired, but not quite. So how this would work? If I look at JEI, is this any descriptive? Item durability is super not descriptive. All right, that's fun. So how this works? If my memory serves me correctly, oops, that's not what I want that. If my memory serves me correct, how this works is there's two modes. Usually there's a blacklist and a whitelist. We have durability below and durability above. So, in our case, what this does is this takes the durability of this item and above, or the durability of this item and below. So, what you can do is you can go, and it's a percentage based. It's not necessarily count based. It's actually percentage based. So, yeah, and I think it's additive. So if you have a couple of items that are like super damaged and you want to put them in and add up, those values, so to speak, those overall percentage of how broken something is, it will do that. So what I can do is I can throw this bow in here. We can set that as the filter, like so. Actually, what does the filter output tell me? That's the good question here, because I don't actually remember. It's been a hot minute to use this filter. So this is saying 89% or above is the filter. So this is currently at 89% or above. So that would work, and this would also work because it's above 89%. Cool. If we take this out, and we do durability below, this will still work because it's still 89% or below. But this would not work because it's above 89%. So that's kind of how the durability filter works there. If I wanted to make this the durability above, and then shoot an arrow out of this real quick. Still works because technically it's above the 89%. If I shoot another arrow. We are now at 87%, I would assume. So just a little bit of durability there, and we already can't put it back in. So pretty crazy, just how much of durability. Obviously, tools and stuff that have more durability on them obviously have a wider percentage gap, if you will. And so maybe some of them will be more allowed than others. But yep, that's how that filter works. That goes in because it's above the threshold, which is pretty cool. So yeah, that's how that filter works. Obviously, some very niche use cases for that, but nonetheless, is still one of the more unique filters that you could possibly have. From there, let's put this back. Put that there. From there, the other filter we could talk about is... This filter is pretty obvious. You don't have to set it up at all. It just checks if an item is enchanted or not, and allows or disallows it. Same with this isFood one. I haven't used this yet for our storage, but I might at some point. We need to do some food automation to check for food items. Actually, maybe I won't. I don't know. We haven't really needed to set up some crazy automation setup for this. Because right now, most of my food items are just going in drawers. But if I wanted to put them all into a chest, I would use the isFood filter usually. So yeah, that's how that would work. Mod filter we've covered. Restricted filter we have not covered. Restricted filter is a very, very niche filter option. You can see I have a lot of stuff there, and it's set to energy. I did want to restrict energy at one point, but decided I don't need that anymore. Restricted filter is super niche. It is the one and only filter currently that can be, quote, inceptioned into another filter. So if I take, like, an item filter here. Let's go... What do I want to do? Let's do, like, cobblestone here. How the restricted filter works is I want to restrict... So pedestals send 4 items at a time, normally. I want to restrict it to 1. I just see 1 cobblestone in there. That's nice and all. Let's do one of these. We'll do that. And what's my filter tool say? It says 1. So a count of 1. So my stack hand is 33, 32, 31, only because that got placed. So basically, can I get a non-placeable item? That might be best here. But yeah, basically, it doesn't matter what item it is. If it's just the count filter, it will only allow a singular item to go into the pedestal. It works for fluids, energy, experience. The only downside to those other types is like fluids is like by thousands. Like every 1,000 is a bucket. So if you want to restrict it to like 500, you have to put 500 items in here to get that, you know, count up before you set the filter. And then, you know, you'd be able to do 500 millibuckets instead of the 1,000 or whatever it is normally. This is also helpful for, you know, sometimes you don't want the pedestal to send 4 items, or, you know, whatever you have it augmented to. Maybe you only want it to send 2 items or something. So you can use an account filter for that. Or the restricted filter, I guess is what it's called right now. And like I said, this is the only filter that can be inceptioned. And so what I mean by that is you throw this in here, we'll throw a berry in there, and we'll set an item stack filter to it. And we'll throw those in there. And if I do this, it just says item filter, restricted filter, red current. Okay. My other red current. Alright. So if I have a black current, as you see, it does not work. But if I have red current, it will insert 2. Because the count filter... Oh, wait, is that really right? Ah, okay. So if this was set up to none... Ooh, man, I'm learning about my own mod. I didn't think I had it set up this way, but apparently it is set up this way. Cool. Set up a red current again. Do that. Reset that. Wait. What? Why is that doing that? That might just be a bug. I think that's a bug. Yep, alright. Well, okay, so let's do a test real quick here. If I set this to 3, set that to 3, then insert this and have those 3 with my item filter. In theory, that would mean 4, right? Yes. Alright, so it is working that way. That's just weird and I don't like it. Anyways, black currants can't go in there because the item filter says red currant. But only 4 red currants can go in at a time because it says 3 plus 1 um, in the filter. So that is technically a bug. Technically it should only read the count of this and not the total count of the whole chest. But currently that's how that works. I guess it's still somewhat acceptable, but not entirely acceptable because there's cases where it's like, what if I want to automate potions with pedestals? Well, I don't want more than 1 item going in the pedestal, so I might have to fix that. So that's definitely a bug we're going to have to look at. But otherwise, yeah, that's how that would work. Ideally, it would just read the count of this filter and not the count of both when I set up the item filter, but that's how the count filter works with the restricted filter. And that can work, like I said, for energy and experience and liquids as well. It's just a lot more to set up that way. So, yeah, that is that. What else do we have here that is kind of unique? Honestly, those are the main 2 unique ones. The rest of them are like the enchanted count filter, the exact filter, and the fuzzy filter for enchants. I'm trying to think if I even have... That might work okay. Yeah, that actually would work. Ooh, yes, that would work too. Okay. Does this have soulbound on it? It does. Perfect. Okay. Actually, I think I can demonstrate this fairly nicely with these. Okay. So, what is this? This was redstone and book and bars, book and wool? Yes. Okay. Because I actually have leather now, I should be able to make books. I need redstone for 1 book. I need iron bars for another book. Count filter. Fuzzy filter. And exact filter. Okay. So, if I... God, there's a lot of pigs. If I remember correctly, the count filter works pretty much the same as the other count filter. If I just put, like, maybe a red currant in here, and do that. Yes, 1 item. Put that on there. So basically, the... Oh, that's an error. I need to fix that. That's fine. Right, so, normally, an item restriction filter would restrict items. Obviously, I can't put any red currants in there at all. We have 2 different bows here. We have a bow with just power 1, a bow with soulbound, and a bow with power and soulbound. Obviously, oh. That's interesting. Does it have to be this way? Okay, so it has to be an item with enchants. Ah, so the red currant has no enchants, so it counts as 0, actually, even though there's 1 item in there. Alright, let's take this out. Try this with the 2 enchant one. Should say 2. It does say 2. Which also means that 1 can't go in. Yeah, cool. But 2 can. Okay. So you do have to have an item with enchants. It has to have a certain number of enchants. And then that's how you set it up. It's also additive, I believe. Do I have anything with 3 enchants on it? 2 again. Soulbound, Unbreaking, Prot, Quick, Fire Prot, Soulbound again. Soulbound again. Bane, Unbreaking, Blast. This is all low-level mob armor, to be fair, so I guess I wasn't expecting too much. Here we go. There's 3. Okay, so I believe this also works additively. So if I take this and that, and I do one of these, bonk, bonk. Now something like this with 3 should go in. Something like this with 1 will not go in, and something like this with 2 won't go in either. Only 3 will go in because it's set to 3. So it takes the total number of enchants that was in here as its counts, basically. So that's kind of how that works. That could be useful in cases where you want to like disenchant an item, but you want to keep 1 or 2 enchants on it or something, or you want to check if an item is only at 1 enchant. So yeah, this could be used in situations where you're filtering for various enchantments, and how many enchants you want on a specific item. So there is some automation reasons for that, which is kind of cool. Fuzzy filter. This is where the fun begins. Fuzzy filter works based on... so let's put power in here. Set that to the fuzzy filter. And so this is looking for enchantment Minecraft power. I don't know if there's any good way for me to localize that. But how this works is this has 2 enchants, Soulbound and power, so it's allowed. This has just power on it, and this has just Soulbound on it, and it's not allowed. So the way the fuzzy filter works is if it has the filtered enchantment on it, it will allow it. So in this case, like this piece definitely would not be able to go in at all because it has protection, Death Strider, and like steady body on it. But yeah, any item that has that power 1 on it will be allowed, regardless of what it is. And I can't remember if it counts. I don't know if I'm going to lose my power 1 bows for my examples here, but I think it will take any level of power as well. I don't think it just has to be power 1. I think it is any level of power as well, which that could be really handy in some cases too. Quick shot, true shot, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not level dependent. And why that matters, really, pig? Dare to find me? Yeah, turds. And the reason why that matters, whether it's like level dependent or not, is because the exact filter is very picky about what type of enchants. So the exact filter, if I put power 1 on here, I go exact filter. Put that on. That is looking for only a bow with power 1 on it. It has to be that exact setup for it to work. Now, if I put both of these in here, these are both the power and soulbound ones. This has both enchants. Still doesn't work. It's looking specifically for items that either have soulbound only or power only. And this one, because it has both, does not work because it's not either one of these 2 options. And so this would be a case where you're trying to enchant multiple items to the same standard, and this would be the filter that you'd use in that case. You're probably thinking, why would I enchant things to the same standard? Because the auto attacker and some of the breakers and stuff have, specific god rolls you might put on them. There are reasons that you might be auto enchanting and may want to use this. In 1.16 it made more sense because it's like I had the enchanter pedestal and you could auto enchant with it, and then that way you could filter exact enchants this way. The fuzzy filter and the exact enchant filter were super handy for that. I may still add the enchanter back in. It may just be a little while before I do that update, because enchanting in Minecraft is code-wise a pain in the rear. I hate it. and I don't want to do it, so I'm putting it off as long as possible. But I could add it in at some point, and when I do, it may see a lot more use. But until then, yeah, that is kind of how those filters work. Other mods that do this sort of thing, integrated dynamics could, but integrated dynamics is more of like, yeah, integrated dynamics probably could. I think XNet probably could as well, but I think that might be about the only two mods that could. Not very many other mods have enchanted filters, and so if you want to do any sort of enchanted filtering, this might be one of your only options. That is basically the majority of our filters. We have covered block filters already. We have covered the tag filter machines when we set up like the smelter for the first time. We use these all the time. The mod filters we covered when we did our storage setup. We haven't covered technically isFood or isEnchanted, but both of those are super simple filters to figure out. I mean, it literally checks for what it says. And yeah, that's pretty much the basis for all the filters there. I haven't needed to make new filters yet. I am considering one option, though, because we have the pedestal modification system. It would be really handy if I could do like a fuzzy or an exact modification filter. Because there are times where it's like, because you, like, in currently, default recipes, you have to cycle your upgrades back a lot of times. It would be really handy if I had something that's like, okay, once it hits max speed, let it pass and leave the loop, basically. That way, because right now what I'm doing is I'm looping it for one upgrade, but if I put like a stack upgrades in here, it'll just loop the first slot, and then it'll get stuck on the first slot when it's like full of whatever I'm doing, and then it goes to the next slot if I pull that item out. So it's still somewhat manual. I would like to be able to be like, okay, let's put speed on here, you know, throw it in a chest with a bunch of other upgrades, let it run, and then when it's done, it gets filtered out and goes into storage instead of sitting in the chest indefinitely. So, yeah, I think I might add those filters just because we have that system now. But otherwise, that's about it for our filters. There's not a whole lot else. If you guys have any suggestions for filters, that would be cool. Let me know in the comments below, or hit me up on like Discord or in stream, and I can maybe like make like a feature request for it if you don't want to do that yourself. But yeah, that's pretty much it. This has been kind of a long video. For whatever reason, filters are just hella long to explain and everything. So, yeah, I guess we will see you folks in the next episode. Have a good day, have a good night, have a good afternoon. Hope explaining filters helps you, and we'll see you later. Bye!